Hello and welcome to Mindful Conversations with Dr. Dawood Vaid, and I bring you 10 questions that are relevant, lively, sometimes that make us think deeper. Today, I am here in my capacity as an educator, and there's this beautiful book called Five Regrets of a Living, or was it the dead? It's a nurse's perspective in the geriatric department in Australia, Debbie Howe, who says that people wish they had lived more with their family, they were happier, they didn't work so much. And it got me thinking, what if I were to prepare 10 regrets of a teacher? Well, as teachers, we have the biggest regret is on the day of our salaries, but other than that, there could be many more that we wish we can correct it. As I'm talking about the turn of the event from 2024 to 25, I think it's a new calendar year. But maybe it may be some more time for the academic year to begin, but yet there is no turning if we think of the years go by, and maybe we can look back our life and smile more, be happier more. So let's deep dive into my first question of 10 regrets of a teacher. Number one, what is your biggest regret as an educator when it comes to balancing compassion and discipline? As teachers, we've been told, spare the rod and spoil the child. It somehow has the stick and the carrot policy. If you want to be the good cop or the bad cop, and often we overdo it. I was looking back at my schooling years and I wish my teachers did not twist my ears so much or bend and hit me on my hand. The corporal punishment might be over. It might still be in Uttar Pradesh or Bihar. I hope not, but we hear stories. But at least progressive states like Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, I don't see so many stories like that. I'm sorry if I offend you if you're from a state which is not yours, but what I mean is, yet, when a teacher enters the classroom, what kind of the fear that the teacher brings. Remember the movie called The Lion King? When they say Mufasa and then the hyenas shake. Your students are not hyenas, and don't try to be a Mufasa unless you're Shah Rukh Khan in the new voiceover that you're trying to do. I wish we can be the Simba. You can be elegant, majestic lion when it has to be, but you can be that kind-hearted gentleman, or Jim Corbett says about the tiger. This is what compassion and discipline is. What if a kid has not done the homework? Give them 2 more days. Give them strategies. Allow them. Why do you take it on yourself to be the only person who can correct and their lives are better? No punishment has ever trained me more than a hand which helped me in my school. Can we be that teacher? It's a balancing that we need to do. I'll give you one advice. A good teacher, it has to be a good wife or a husband. And this is a life rule I'm giving you. I'm just spending more time on question 1, but if you go back and ask your husband or your wife, what kind of person I am? Trust me, the feedback you get, implement in the classroom will be bigger. Because I don't want your husband or wife to be the Hitlers of the house and of the classrooms. No, we don't want them. We want more compassionate leaders. We want Obamas in our classroom who can mix humor, compassion and discipline. So there you are. Question number 2. Is there a teaching method or strategy you wish you had adopted early in the career? This question assumes that you learned something new. And if you haven't, learn it. A lot of times I interview fantastic, phenomenal teachers, done their B.Eds, and yet they're clueless about the strategies they wish to adopt. And then I ask them, your B.Ed was a certificate. Where is the skill? And that is where the biggest gap is. I will give you my 3 personal take on what 3 strategies I use and I love them so much. Number 1, multiple intelligence theory. Please go back and read about Dr. Gardner's MI theory, kinesthetic learners, rhythmic learners, naturalist learners. There's so much to it. I strongly implement that in my education. And yes, a small endorsement, I do workshops every month, webinars. Join them, have fun, and you use them as a part of theory number 1. Number 2, I use extensively on Bloom's or the revised Bloom's hierarchy, the Bloom's taxonomy as it's called, for my assessment. Well, you can introduce HOTS and LOTS, higher order thinking skill, lower order thinking skill. If you're a teacher, you're still interested till now, congratulations. You are doing brilliant. You already learned 2 strategies. And finally, one of my go-to strategy with regards to journaling is Maslow's hierarchy. Your basic roti kapda makan. Is the class environment better? Is the class feeling safe? Are the students feeling compassionate, comfortable? And then when you start talking about creation and ego, ultimately when your basic needs are met, you're taking forward. It could be Vygotsky, it could be any other theory you bring in. Please, ZPD, the zonal proximal development, make sure your theories are part of your lesson plans, and then you will see them wonderfully. And by the way, I always believe lesson plans are overrated. For that, you have to watch one of my workshop called Teach by the Hook or Hook Book Looked Up. You will enjoy it. Number 3. Looking back, do you regret prioritizing curriculum over life skill development? No, I did not put it. These are questions generated by GPT. But yes, a lot of times, subjects like arts, subjects like maths, they do not know why they are sketching and shading this little, this apple on the table, and I have no clue why I'm doing it. Imagine if you introduce a Pixar to them. You introduce what Van Gogh did. Van Gogh is in the pictures now, everywhere, from t-shirts to socks. Please introduce to them the creators who will make a difference if you're an arts teacher. And that is what I call skill education. In maths, tell them calculus is for Google. Explain to them how Google uses Roman integrals, because the only time you use Roman numbers is in the wall clock and not otherwise. Why are we even worrying about something that they are not even, it's redundant, they're not even using it in their lives. So life skill is practically the key to success as a teacher. Your own self. I introduced a book called the Candle Curriculum. It's been used by some of the best schools and some of my friends who got the set and they still love it. Introduce the Candle Curriculum in your school from 2025 academic year, and you will find a difference in you as a teacher and then your students and your classroom as a whole. Question number 4. Was there a moment you felt failed to connect to a student? How has that influenced your approach since then? Maybe you tried too hard. Maybe the child was just lost. Maybe you never thought of a home visit. There's so many areas we can work on. Sometimes, you're losing a child, and then there are two ways a teacher responds to it. I know one of my teacher, when the students were overwhelming her, she stepped out of the classroom and she started crying. And I said, no, that's not good. That is your weakness in emotional intelligence. You can't be taking that fears and burdens and putting into your emotions and your fears and your children. You need to be emotionally resilient as a teacher. And then there's another approach. The teacher starts distancing herself from the student, ignoring him, telling him in petty issues, picking him up. And that's a fight you don't want to pick up. You are a 50-year-old person, 40-year-old person picking up with a fight with someone less than half your age. Shame on you. I'm sorry, but that's not an approach. So next time, reflect. So 2 things that will help you. Number 1, a journal. A home visit. Understand a child, write the child down. Take the 360-degree peer feedback. Are you facing the same issues? Let's solve the issues. Always remember, the problem is in the personality, not the child. Blame the crime, not the criminal. Yes, there are some criminals, you should be banishing them. But often, it's the society that pushes them to do petty crimes. These kids are doing petty crimes. You find them watching pornography, or they write something bad, or they hit someone. These are the society's undertaking, and we need to address them. So remember my slogan for it, the heart of a sparrow and the skin of a rhino. It will be a great combination for you as a teacher. Question number 5. If you could go back in time and one thing you would do differently, how would you do it? Oh, I'm sure you will say, I'll stop doing my B.Ed, I'll do my B.E, I'll be an engineer, I'll make more money as a computer science or an influencer or anything other than a B.Ed. That's not true. We need teachers. Teachers are superpowers or super people without cape. You are a superhero in people's life. You are wonderful. Just that, unfortunately, like me as an engineer or somebody as a doctor, doctors are still fine, we thought that getting a degree was the end of education. Getting the degree was the start of education. Your re-education started the moment you entered the school and the classroom. It is more difficult getting a job than staying in a wonderful, happy school. Make changes. Bring some priorities. And if you're a school head listening to me, one of the regrets of a teacher is overworking. Please do not take the lesson plans home. Spend an extra hour, take Saturdays off. I appeal to all my principal, my friends, my education leaders, the lesser the better. In Golden Sparrow, we only work 4 days a week for kids. Friday, we call it Friday for future. Saturday, Sunday are sacrosanct, we don't touch. Friday is a half day of training. There's so much that can be achieved with less and not with overburdening ourselves. You're not working in a bank. You're not someone who needs a transaction every day. You want liberties. You want space. You want the freedom to manifest visions. That's what a teacher is. We took a lot of it. So my answer to question number 6 is what I already tell you. Do you regret not taking care of your own mental health while juggling the responsibilities? Yes. What I just told you about. Create white space. Create less noise. When I say noise, well, its classroom is a noisy place to be, but also the kind of things you shout. Tone down. Why are you so angry? Write a note. Tell a child in disciplining different ways. There is a beautiful series I did, and you must maybe, ask me your concerns. I'm here. I may not be the best. I'm raising my own kids, and there are ways to solve it. I'll give you an example. Think of you juggling a lot of balls with you, right? So there are balls out there, and there's a ball which is a delicate glass ball. That cannot fall down. That's your priority. That's your mental health. There's a ball, this will bounce back. That's called career. You lose one, you will get one, I'm sure. I'm not saying let it bounce, but I'm saying it will. There is a squishy ball. Even if it falls, you have to bend to pick it up. That's your self-esteem. Don't let it fall down. There are different balls with different ideas. You must know which one has to be longer in the air, which one has to be safer on the hand, and which one you let go because it will come back to you. That is your priority. Question number 7. Was there a professional opportunity you regret not taking and how it might have shaped your career differently? I am sure. I met a very good friend of mine, brilliant education influencer, and we were talking about an opportunity she got in the Gulf, and she chose to be the principal of an ex-school and not going there. And we kind of looked back. I said, see, it's done. But maybe tomorrow you are called to Singapore. Maybe tomorrow there's a bigger school calling you. Grab the opportunities. It's okay. Talk to your current school. Do not be too emotionally attached to one institution. I say that knowing my teachers might leave me, but that's it. If I hold them back against their own personal and career growth, I am not the right person. I'm not a good leader. It's time. It's time you let them go. Because there will be someone else coming in. If I believe my processes are good, I believe my trainings are good, yes, you allow them space, you allow them that HR policies, there is a 3-month notice period, there is a year-end term, there is a wonderful teacher who left midway, and I realized she's not a teacher material in the first place, because how can you leave your children midway, whatever reasons be? So that's also an aptitude thing. But there are professional opportunities other than teaching, and I give you 3 of them. For example, have you ever tried going to a Comic Con or a Pet Fed? If I'm in Mumbai, I get events like a gala. Even going to a theatre event called, a friend of mine, Kusum Kanwar, said she went to a theatrical episode of Life of Pi, the rendering, the theatre. And I think a teacher must explore that facet of life. Go around, see those, because that is a brilliant opportunity. If you're in a small town, you get an opportunity to come to bigger city. If it's something in your city, attend it, number 1. Number 2, your own PDCs. What is it? Professional development courses. Please make sure you get 3 in a year. Why? What do I mean? It could be online. It could be a webinar. It could be a local event. It could be an event somewhere in the city. Please be a part of 1, 2, 3 PDCs per year. Something that will enhance you. Join me for my skill ambassadorship program. Understand what an SDG goals are about. Go and do a doodle course by somebody. Please, for the sake of your career, learn a skill. And finally, attend one education event once a year. It should be wonderful, it should be worth it. It is something that happens in IIT Delhi, attend it. Something happens with School News in Jaipur, attend it. Something that happens in Chennai with another education event, attend it. Not those award functions where awards are given by the buckets and the dozen. They are literally very less informative, but pure good education events where there is a beautiful networking, there is some exchange, and then they'll learn. A shout out to Shikshangan people, Vijay and Devika, amazing work they're doing. Go to Pune, spend some time with them, and thank me later for what I'm suggesting to you. Question number 8. Is there a moment where you regret how you handle feedback or criticism from student or parent? Oh, parent, I will not open the Pandora box. We hate them to criticize. They criticize our souls, don't they? And yet we take it so personally. Always remember, as a salesman, as a teacher, you have to be a good salesman. What do I mean by it? When somebody says, I'm here selling you this, what is the better thing? Oh, I have a sand clock here. I'm trying to sell you a sand clock. You refuse to buy it. Is it a refusal for me, or is it a refusal of the product? Maybe you don't need it. You think you have a better watch, you have a digital watch, you have a mobile phone, you do have a timer. You just don't value time. Could be so many reasons, right? But it's not a personal rejection. I will go and try selling it to someone else. So when a person or a parent primarily criticizes you, do 2 things. Listen to the feedback. Write it down. If it's too critical, request the parent to email it to you, CC to the school administration. Tell them, if they're doing it verbally, tell them, can you slow down? I want to note down what you tell me. They become more conscious. They really become very conscious. Number 2, look into it. Don't be reacting to it. Respond to it. Write down. Okay, so you think I'm biased towards your child? Okay, ma'am, can you give me 2 examples? There are a lot of them. Accept it. Maybe they're helping you learn better. Maybe you might find something that can improve you. Why? We aren't perfect. Why am I supposed to be perfect? No marriage is perfect. Otherwise, you will never have divorces. Even if marriage is perfect, there will be some spills. There will be some creative problems. There will be some, financial issues. It's okay, but that's how wonderful relationships are developed. So please look back at a feedback and tell me, have you handled a feedback very negatively? I've had teachers who really were very, very poor listeners. They've taken feedback very negatively. Again, I've done a small video, 5 minutes, on how to give feedback, how to receive feedback. It's from a book called 4 Seconds. Maybe you should listen to that. It will help you. All right, we are down to the last 2 questions. Shall I make a fun question out there? Okay, just a simple one. What role does regret play in the process of growing as an educator? Is there a regret-free education toolkit? So when you look back the entire 2024, every month, I'm sure I'll give you some advices you already implement. Some you can give me something that really have changed. One of the 2 advices I've given to my teachers, which have been very, very, very effective, is open up your Google Calendar and look at, from Jan till December, look at some of the events you marked, some of the travels you've done, some of the meetings you had, and pick up something every month that stands out. If a month is empty, that means that month hasn't been wonderful. So some of them said, no, I didn't have a Google Calendar. I said, that's what my entire thing is. Write down your Google Calendar. Small things. I'm meeting you today. There's a meeting, I write it down. If it's worthwhile, I'm going for conference, write down. And suddenly you're like, oh my God, the year may have gone very fast, but I have achieved so much in that 1 year. That one thing will change the way you look at regret. It's a regret toolkit. Oh, I shouldn't have met this parent at this time of the day. Also, sometimes a parent is very angry and they call you at a time. Hold on. Send a standard message. I will call you after some time. When you call people on their own terms, maybe they are busier, they are shorter. That really, really has changed the way. My lesson number 1. My lesson number 2 is very simple. Please pick up a book. Tell me, what have you read? You will regret not reading a book. Whole year went by and besides your textbooks, you've not picked up a book and you are a teacher? I am ashamed. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Pick up some book. Some wonderful book. Why are the school buses yellow? What did you ask in school today? Brilliant. Creative schools, Ken Robinson, so many of them. Pick up something. Start with a Sudha Murthy, but this is a regret. Don't take it to your grave. If it's 10 years since I've been talking to you and 10 books if you have read, you will be a different person today. Last advice is, what advice do you give to new educators to avoid the regrets you had, and something that you will laugh around? So many of them. I think I'll share one. I think I'm very good at child psychology. I'm not actually. And one day my daughter was crying and we went to a mall and there was a little other boy who was occupying a small piece of a playhouse, and I thought, okay, I'll scare him away. And I went and I scared him. And the mother was standing right next to me. Very embarrassing, very stupid thing I did, but I laugh around it. Don't take yourself too seriously. If you aren't making a mistake, you are not a human, you're angel. You're dead, by the way, right? So mistakes are fine, but glooming over the mistakes is not fine. Move on, carry on, have fun, use an account, social media, enjoy it. Enjoy your life as an educator. Don't take yourself very seriously. Trust me, you will have a great 2025. All the best. Good luck.